Hello, hello, hello. We're having a special live stream today. We're going to be talking about women, nutrition, and stress. Eating healthily is not just about losing weight, it's about making sure that we're living healthily, that we have longevity, and that we are lowering our stress levels. We have a special guest today who I'll be introducing in just a few moments, and we're going to have a lot of fun as we do so. We're going to get to it in just Hi there. How's everybody? You have entered Stress Talk Live with Marcyline. This is where we help women over 40 to live healthier lives through strategic stress management and solution focused self care. First, before we get started with this special edition of Stress Talk, I want to invite you all to like, follow, and subscribe to ML Bailey Consultants on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. That's where you're going to find all of our content. I won't say tips because what we're talking about is long lasting stress relief. I welcome you to tonight's special edition. I'm not going to talk a lot because I want to get right into the heart of why we're here. I have a very special guest with me, and I'm excited that she agreed to join me today. I'm going to bring her on camera, and then I'm going to introduce her. Okay, so just give me a second to figure out how to do this. And here she is. Here she is. Let me introduce her. This is Jerlyn Jones. She is a registered dietitian, nutritionist, a certified leap therapist, and the owner of the Lifestyle Dietitian. The Lifestyle Dietitian is a nutrition consulting practice located in Atlanta, Georgia. Hot Atlanta, you all. And it is hot in Atlanta, by the way, for other reasons. Jerlyn and her team assist adults with digestive problems, diabetes, disease prevention, weight management, and heart disease. She also specializes in integrative nutrition, and she teaches her clients that choosing whole, nutritious foods combined with fitness and self love is vital for health and wellness. She is a former national media spokesperson for the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and she's been featured in over 300 interviews in national print, TV, podcast, and radio media outlets. And I'm so glad that she's joined me today. Not only that, she is a contributing writer to All Recipes magazine. I want to introduce to some of you Jerlyn Jones, the Lifestyle Dietitian. Hey, lady, how are you?
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. That was quite an introduction.
Well, hey, it's all true. Before we get started, I want to share with all of you how Jerlyn and I came to know each other. She is an integral part of my health journey. Actually, a year ago, I made a big decision to really focus on my health. And it was a big decision because I felt as if I needed to make some changes, some lifestyle changes. Um, After years of gaining weight, um, years of gaining weight, um, I realized that my weight was actually affecting my health. My knees were bothering me. I was having trouble walking upstairs. They were aching, they were hurting. I'd get out of bed and my joints were aching. Not only that, I had sky high cholesterol. And for someone whose family has heart disease in the family, that was very alarming for me. I wanted to make some changes, and I knew I needed someone who could help me. And so I went on a search and I found Jerlyn. And we've been walking together on this journey for a year now. It's been a year, and she has been very helpful to me. And I believe that the things that she's going to share today are going to be helpful to you as well. So let's get started. I have a quick question. Jerlyn, how did you even get into this business? What prompted you to go into nutrition as a profession?
Well, I've always been a servant at heart. I like to serve people. But oddly enough, I didn't even know what a registered dietitian was before I became a registered dietitian. I decided many years ago, like over 15 years ago, that I just wasn't completely satisfied with the way my career was going. But I've always liked health, wellness, fitness. It's always been a part of my life, and decided to take a couple of nutrition classes. At this time, I was living in New York and decided, hey, why not? Let's see if this will prompt something, like maybe it will energize me, maybe I'll like it, I don't know. So I did. I took a couple of basic nutrition classes, fell in love, did not know like how interesting nutrition was, the science of it. And then that started my journey. From then on, I decided to quit my job. At that time, I was working for this company that really wasn't a career for me at all, but it was a direct mail marketing agency, and I didn't see a future there. But these classes is what really pivot my life and change the trajectory of my life. And so I decided that, it's never too late to fulfill your passion. And that really what it taught me. And so I was like one of the oldest individuals in my grad classes, but that didn't stop me from pursuing this career. And here I am, a registered dietitian nutritionist. And also, and unbeknownst to me, I didn't know how few people of color are part of this field. In the world of dietetics, there's only about 3% of African Americans that are dietitians. It's so low, very, very low. So what that means is that our culture really isn't representative in the field of dietetics. That means that individuals might be, told that their cultural foods are unhealthy, or they should stop eating them. And so it's good that there are more of us getting into the profession, and it's opening more doors, and so that we can help individuals that not only maybe look like us, but also have shared cultural backgrounds.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things when I was searching for someone to work with, one of the things that was important to me was to have someone who looked like me.
Mhm.
And it's very fascinating because as a licensed clinician, I run into that as well, that people want someone who looks like them because there's a shared understanding that we have, a shared history, background that we have, and we can understand each other.
Mhm.
You talked about the foods that are so important to our culture. And one of the things that you've helped me to understand is that I can eat those foods with a little adjustment. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, of course. I work with individuals of all different types of backgrounds. And so I had to learn myself that you can definitely continue to eat the foods that you enjoy. Food is pleasurable. And one thing, and it's pleasurable, it's also emotional. Um, it also fuels us. So food has a lot of different components to it. But one thing is that you should always be able to enjoy the foods that you like. However, you can make some adjustments so you still can eat them, but we're just going to make some little slight tweaks to it. For instance, well, this is probably something people will know, but if you do like to have collard greens, usually collard greens are cooked with pork, right? Usually smoked pork or fatty meats. And as we know, fatty meats can raise cholesterol levels, which you mentioned before that, your cholesterol levels are sky high. And so we want to lower those cholesterol levels. How do we do that? We can still have those collard greens, but we can substitute the pork or fatty meats for leaner meats, maybe some smoked turkey instead. Or I tell people you can also add smoked paprika. You'd be amazed that
Mm.
that little seasoning can just add some flavor and some robustness to your meals. So there are definitely ways that you can continue eating the foods you enjoy. You might have to eat less of it and maybe not as frequently, or like I said, make slight adjustments. But working with a registered dietitian nutritionist who is familiar with your foods or has a better understanding of your foods and your culture is really key, an idea. So you want to do that so you won't have to just stop eating everything and be miserable. That's the last thing we want anyone to be, is not able to eat the foods they enjoy.
And as a matter of fact, I cooked collard greens today, and I sure did, with no meat, but I seasoned it. I have a seasoning that I use that gives it that smoky flavor.
Mm,
And you really, because it's the flavor that we like. So
yes.
you really can't tell that there's no meat in it, which is
Yeah.
really, really good. They're good. It's good. It's good.
Yes. Speaking,
Yeah.
and
So
the reason why I brought up collard greens is because I had collard greens the other day too, and I just had them with some sweet potatoes. So it's just, I love collard greens.
yeah. I know. So we've talked about meal planning, and um one of the things that you've also taught me is that I don't have to have bacon and eggs for breakfast. I can actually have a salad, or I can have vegetables for breakfast. And it makes it a lot more interesting. Can you talk a little bit about how we can liven up our meal choices?
We need to think out of the box when it comes to meals. Here in the US, we've been ingrained to have maybe sweet foods for breakfast. You're grabbing a donut, maybe you're grabbing some pastries, and you don't need to do that, right? You can definitely switch it up. I mean, we've all heard about breakfast for dinner, where you can definitely have dinner for
Yeah.
breakfast. In other countries, they happen to have more savory foods for breakfast. And so, yes, I tell people all the time, because people are really sometimes confused about what to eat at different meals. You have leftovers, you can eat
Mm.
leftovers, right? You can always have, like I said, vegetables for breakfast. And so once you start changing your mindset and you shift your mind to other types of food items, so you open yourself up to something different, something new, and you're never bored,
Mhm.
right? You always have something that you can
Yeah.
choose from. So definitely, like I said, think out of the box. Try something new. Maybe once a week, you're like, I'm going to have a savory type of breakfast. Maybe I'm going to try this. If you like oatmeal, maybe I'm going to add tomatoes and onions to my oatmeal and not add something sweet, right? So then that becomes a savory dish because oats is a whole grain, just like brown rice is a whole grain, and just like, quinoa, those are all whole grains, but you can have them for breakfast.
Mm-hmm. So we've also talked about whole grains. I'm glad you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
And with your help, I've tried a host of grains that I'd never considered. Can you talk about how we can, first of all, what types of whole grains are not very we know about oatmeal, but what other whole grains are there that we can look at and maybe consider? And how do we find it?
So whole grains are just grains that have a lot of different nutrients. We call them whole because they have all of the different components of a bran. They have the endosperm, they have the bran, they have the wheat germ. So they have all the different components of a grain, and this is why we call it whole grains. So there are a variety of different whole grains out there. So besides brown rice and quinoa, those are very popular, and oats, you also have sorghum, you have millet, you have buckwheat, you have rye. There's a variety of different. You also have couscous is also a grain that you can try. So I always say, if you haven't tried these grains, because you can find them in various, wherever you're at, different grocery stores, you might have to go maybe to a Whole Foods or a specialty store to get something like sorghum. Fonio, I've heard about, fonio was something that was new to me, that was introduced to me last year when I went to a conference, and never heard of it, but it's a drought resistant grain that's very popular in Africa. And you can make it, same thing, you can make it savory, you can make it as a breakfast cereal, but you can find these grains in your store. We just have to look for them. Sometimes we're not looking for them, right? We like what we like, so we choose what we like. But interesting enough, most of my clients realize that I'm going to get them introduced to other grains, and they like them. Like someone who's probably never thought of buckwheat before, they're like, I like cream of buckwheat. That's how I introduce it. And so, yes. So again, try these grains because they provide a variety of different vitamins and minerals that our body needs. And one thing that we are missing is we're deficient in we can be deficient in many nutrients only because we're not getting a variety of different foods. And so if you choose quinoa one week and then millet another week and then buckwheat one other week, there you go. You are opening up your palate. You're also opening up, your mind to different types of foods that are definitely flavorful, they're tasty, and they're easy to prepare. Just like making rice is basically the same thing. You can jazz it up however you like, but there's also recipes online too. I even have a recipe for fonio on my website at thelifestyledietitian.com if you want to go check that out.
Mm-hmm. We let's talk about, I'm pointing because I'm excited about all of this information, and these are things that Jerlyn and I talk about when we come together. She is so helpful in how she listens to me. Even when I say, I think it's the bread that's causing my issues, she listens. She does not immediately say, that's not it. But she listens to me. And then she makes recommendations as to what I can do. One of the things that we've discussed is we've discussed how eating healthily, exercising, getting those building exercise into a daily routine is it's more of a lifestyle. And hence the name, the Lifestyle Dietitian. But you're not just talking about food choices. You're talking about how we can be all wholly with the WHOLLY, how we can be healthy holistically. And can you talk about that a little bit, because it's not just how we eat, it's other things too.
Mhm. Yeah, eating is definitely vital. We all need to eat. However, that is just a part of why we may be feeling certain way, like we're not having our optimal health and wellness. I look at everything that's going on in your life. And so that means I'm asking about your sleep patterns, right? Are you getting appropriate sleep at night? Are you getting uninterrupted sleep? Are you getting up in the middle of the night? That can definitely cause issues besides what you're eating. Along with, are you getting the recommended physical activity for your health, for your age? Is that happening? Because if it's not, then we need to incorporate that also. Are you enjoying, the activities that you're doing? How are you managing stress? All of this I have to take into consideration when I'm working with my clients, because it's just not only the food, that's definitely a big part of it, but also if you are if you're on that journey of eating foods that are going to help you heal and help you improve your health, but then you're only sleeping 2 or 3 hours at night, or you're not exercising, then of course you're not going to be fully healed, right? You're not going to be fully probably accomplishing the intentions you set for yourself. So that is my job, is to make sure that you are successful in those areas of your life, because that's going to help in other areas of your life. It's going to help with your relationships. It's going to help with your professional life. If you are getting all of these different things, if they're lining up according to how your lifestyle is, then we're right then and there, we're on this journey. And I tell everybody, it's always a journey. You always hear me say that, it's daily. This is a journey that we're all on. It doesn't end at all. We never reach, because I think that's what happens too, is we think there is an end point, right? We think there's a finish line, and there's never a finish line, right? You just continue to evolve and get better, right? You also make mistakes, you have some setbacks, but then you just continue to move forward. And that's what it's all about, and I'm also here to help guide you and support you and hold you accountable through all of your walk.
Mm-hmm. And you do. You've done that. You've definitely done that for me. We In working with you, I've learned, as I said earlier, I've learned a lot. And it's not just the information that you share. I've learned a lot about myself. Part of this journey is learning about myself, things that I like, things that I don't like, things that I fight against. Also, how adventurous am I? Some of the food items that I've tried, again, they're things that I've never tried before. And so just having the opportunity to try them has been an adventure. One of the things that I've learned about all kinds of different fish, other than catfish. I've learned, and it's been real interesting. I think when we learn to eat the way our parents learned to eat, and we continue that because it's what we know. But there's so much more out there that is delicious and good for us as well, that sometimes we do, as you said, we have to step outside of ourselves and step out away from our patterns. So Jerlyn, how can people get in touch with you? I know I have your appointment link on the screen, and I've also posted it in the chat. How can people get in touch with you if they're interested in learning a little bit more about the lifestyle dietitian?
The best way to get in touch is by going to my website, which is thelifestyledietitian.com. You just Google Lifestyle Dietitian, I should pop up. If you want to follow me on social media, on IG and Facebook, that is the Lifestyle Dietitian _. Twitter's a little different. That's at Jerlyn Nutrition on Twitter. And then also you can call us at 678-568-1426 to also set up an appointment. We offer 15-minute phone consultations just to see if we're a good fit for your nutrition needs. So yeah, we're happy to help you. We are in the Atlanta area. This is where we see most of our clients. And we do accept insurance for some services. We accept Cigna, we accept Oscar, and we're pending with United Healthcare. But so yeah, we'll be happy. We're accepting new clients right now. So yes, you can go on my website. I also have newsletters. So you can sign up for a free newsletter. And so about once a month, I post or send out a newsletter about just activities, what's going on, mostly nutrition things that are happening that I think are interesting. And so, yeah, you can definitely check out that newsletter too. And also, if you are in, so this is a podcast, this is just, an interview. This is information for women over 40. I started another brand for my business, which is for women who are going through perimenopause, because perimenopause is different from menopause. And so usually most of your symptoms happen during perimenopause, and that's about 7 to 9 years that you're transitioning into menopause. And so what I found is that nutrition is very useful, very beneficial to helping you relieve those symptoms naturally. So you can do that without either doing nothing at all and just going through this by yourself, or there's also strategies to help you relieve or reduce symptoms with perimenopause naturally. So I have Nutrition for Midlife. You can check me out on Instagram or Facebook with that too.
Wow. Where were you when I needed you?
That's only because I'm going through this. I was having night sweats and some other issues. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm not going to go through what my mom went through. My mom, she probably went through years of hot flashes. And it didn't look fun at all. And so I knew I didn't want to go through that. So I decided to do some research, and read a couple of books and saw that there's evidence that once I started changing how I was eating, so was, taking different types of supplements, and I no longer have those night sweats. Like I sleep fine now. Mm-hmm. But I think because there are, doctors lack this information, they lack the knowledge to help women during this time. And it's not their fault. This is just training you don't get when you're going through medical school, that we need to really seek out that information. And I wanted to put all of that in one area for women to help out. And I'm glad we're talking about this more and more, because before it was like a taboo subject. Mm-hmm. No one talked about menopause, right? It was just, it happens, you get through it, and that's it. But what I found out is that going through perimenopause put us at greater risk for osteoporosis and for heart disease. So this is something I'm trying to prevent for women, especially women of color, because African-American women and Latino women are at higher risk for more severe symptoms and for risk for heart disease. So I just definitely want to help those in those communities to not have to go through that. And actually, this natural trend, we're gonna, it happens natural. It's a natural transition. There's not much we can do about it, right? We're gonna have to go through these changes, but we can do it in a way where it's not miserable. We're also at our best during this time. And then we don't have to lose out on our health and our wellness, right? We don't have to lose our minds going through this. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. And the thing about it is what we when our body is stressed, we are mentally stressed. I mean, it's all integrated, you know, body and mind, it's all connected. And so when our body is stressed, we're that's where we have those emotional and mental stressors. You know, we're stressed. And so it's really very important for us to make sure that we're doing the things to keep our body healthy, and it keeps our stress levels low. Oh, I hate that it is time. It's time for us to stop talking. I hate that. Oh, I really do. That makes me sad. Oh.
I can talk about food all day long.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm just so happy that you joined me. I'm so happy that you're here. I know that all the things that you shared are very helpful to my audience, and it's definitely helpful to the people that you work with, including myself. Once again, you can always find Jerlyn here, the lifestyledietitian.com. If you are interested in connecting with her on Facebook and Instagram, you can find her here. Also, the Lifestyle Dietitian with an underscore at the end, everybody. Underscore at the end. Also, look for her new program for women who are perimenopausal, at Nutrition for Midlife, also on Facebook and Instagram. All of this is really, follow her. You're going to get a lot of great information, a lot of helpful information. And if for those of you who are on Twitter, you can find her at Jerlyn Nutrition on Twitter. Because I know some of you are on Twitter too. I know that. I know. I'm on Twitter, but I'm not really on Twitter. But once again, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today. You all check us out next week. We'll be here, same bat time, same bat station, 7 p.m. You are watching Stress Talk Live with Marcyline. I'm so glad you joined me. See you next week.